Greetings, YouTube. I want to start off this video talking about the importance of, when possible, slowing down and taking a couple days or hours or sometimes even weeks to get things right. A couple days ago, I was asked about what happens when you gain units and you're in Kabam jail, like this summoner here whose name has been protected for the sake and purpose of this video. You can see in the top right, you've got those special negative red credit amounts that can only be fixed if you buy X amount of credits from the unit store to essentially refill your balance to zero, to start back at zero out of the negatives. And I was asked, what happens when you gain units, whether it be from the arena or battle chips or whatever, when you're in this negative count? And I didn't know because I had been told two different things. And so my goal was to learn from some of the mistakes I've had in the past, where it is tempting when you trust your sources to publish information that to just wait a couple days and try to see if we could get a hold of somebody, we in this community, who was in Kabam jail, and see if they were willing to show exactly what that was, and still, instead of hearsay or secondary reports and secondary sources, get primary sources. This is also really important to me right now because I have seen some really seemingly credible journalism outlets since the tragic helicopter crash that took Kobe Bryant and his daughter, amongst others, report crazy things from Rick Fox, a fellow ex-Laker, being dead, to all four passengers being daughters, just for the sake of being the first to report. And so let this be a reminder that you don't really, as a human being, remember who was first, but you do remember who was wrong. And today is unfortunately a very tragic example of that in the journalism and sports journalism industries. So back to this video. So you can see, you can buy a crate of credits for $100, which is $9,999. And so you can do the math. If you were to buy two of those, you would get out of Kabam jail, but that would also cost you $200. And I have no idea who this person is or how much they allegedly stole from Kabam to get into Kabam jail, as I like to call it. But, some people are like, well, hey, maybe if I get in Kabam jail, I can just get out of jail by slowly accruing units and focusing on paying off the balance that way. Well, this summoner has been so nice, along with the help of others, that he's compiled this list. Okay, so he's got 20 units, right? 20 units that would normally go into your unit stash. And you can see in that top right, 17,800 does not change. You can claim the collector's daily card, which would be 17,780. It does not change. So a really fascinating part of this discussion too comes with the curiosity, and this question I've asked around and I don't have the answer to, but there is an assumption. If the assumption's correct, that would just flat out suck. So let's say that he claims 500 units, assuming this guy's a he. Maybe it's a she, I don't know. Identity protected. This summoner claims 500 units that don't go anywhere because they can't be added. And then he pays off his balance and gets out of Kabam jail and goes back to zero. Do the units show up once he's been cleared, or are they lost forever as also punishment for not paying off the balance and paying back Kabam, essentially, in the meantime? That's a question I don't have the answer for. The assumption from the people I've talked to is that they could just be gone forever, and so it's best, if you're in the situation, to not claim anything until you've paid the ransom to get out of jail. But I don't 100% have the factual knowledge on that, so despite this video evidence, I don't want to speculate. Just know that there's a chance that you might not be able to, but there's also a chance that maybe it'll return. I don't think Kabam is concerned at all when they feel as though users have stolen from them, and this is the reason why. Just to make it clear, most of the scenarios that I hear about behind the scenes in these kind of videos are people who have asked for refunds and still jumped Kabam, like, say, credit card refunds, because you can jump the Kabam support team and call your credit card company, especially if you buy multiple offers. I get Capital One alerts all the time that say, did you purchase multiple iTunes? Because let's say I purchased 2 Odins, that's going to show up as a suspicious charge because it'll be $99.99 twice. And so the credit card company is doing its due diligence. But if I was to say no, I would be refunded at least half of my purchase even though Kabam technically controls it, and then they wouldn't know I was refunded until they got the information, I'm guessing, from Apple or from Capital One. So that still does happen. I'm not sure if that was the exact scenario in this case, but that is certainly something that has been brought to my attention in recent days. So, kind of fascinating to see you claim units and know that they don't mean anything, because it seems like, this crate inventory that is shown, this crate of credits. A credit is not a unit, so you can't interchange the two, right? You can't say, I've got 20 units, which counts as 20 credits. The only way you can get credits is by buying them in the cash store, because if it could be from units, then in theory, you could actually scam Kabam out of money, because you could get back cash and then spend your time in the game, like through Arena, getting units and paying back the cash that way. So I get why the system is set up as it is, but it still was kind of curious whether or not that affected your overall unit total. And it appears from this video, you can't even view units until you get out of Kabam jail, and then if you don't get out of Kabam jail for X amount of days, your account could be deactivated permanently. So there you have it, YouTube. I had no idea what kind of video I was going to do today after the news. I had been a wreck, just thinking, like so many others, about how precious life is. So I want to end this video saying this, because I'm somebody who grew up in a very abusive household and still struggles to talk to my mom and reconcile. But if you love somebody and you are holding a grudge, or you're not talking to them, but you know that if they left this earth, and they could at any point, you'd be devastated, bury the hatchet, reach out, and talk to them. Because whatever the pain or agony of that grudge that you're feeling right now against that person is, it's going to pale in comparison to the pain of when they leave this earth. And life is not guaranteed. You never know when that's going to happen. Hopefully it doesn't happen for a very long time, but we just don't know. We just don't know. So I felt like that was an appropriate way to end this video. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. And thank you to everybody who contributed to this video and the reporting that went into it, especially the video evidence from our anonymous summoner, to help clear up some misconceptions about what happens when your account gets into this state.